his coach, and he hopes that Thorman will be the man who will be able to open the Hull side up in the latter stages of this match. Another good kick, and it nearly deceived Prescott again behind his own try line. Now he's moved forward, and Sodji comes charging in with a big hit.
Was it ever? But what a magnificent kick there from Mark Aston. And this is the impact from the winger, Bright Sodji. And not surprisingly, Prescott suddenly got to the off the ground, somewhat dazed.
Hold on in possession, that's Jim Leatham. Plays the ball to Martin Hall. He gets it away then to Richard Wilson. And he's grounded on the 30-metre mark. It's the last tackle. And the kick is charged down by Aston. It's play on and 6 to go. That was great stuff. But wasn't that then by Simon Ball, by the number 21 for Hull, Roberts, a voluntary tackle?
Yes. He just laid there. And why the official didn't penalise him is anyone's guess. Well, I can't believe that.
Well, Graham Hallis has lost the ball anyway, as it's turned out, but it should surely have been a penalty to Sheffield.
And the loose forward Roberts, it was a charge down, and then he just said, OK, how's this one? And I mean, he just made no attempt to bring the ball back into play.
First touch there for this young Chris Thorman. Great scream of forward pass, but Dio Powell receiving it from Darren Shaw. Johnny Lawless at the play the ball. There's Shaw.
Well, he's been the difference between the two sides for mine as a hooker, Johnny Lawless. And he'll control things out there.
This is Lawton again. Not much progress made there by the Eagles. Just 5 metres. Lawless now, and he chips the ball in field to Ricky Wright once more. That's the last for Sheffield. Here's Aston. He'll hoist the kick. Big chase on out wide, but it might be too wide, and it is. Out on the full. Mistake from Mark Aston.
Won't be happy with that. That's the worst kick he's produced for this game so far. 7 already. Average is 11. And we're only 3 minutes into this second half, so you can expect for him to break his average easily today. Oh, that's an awful pass.
It bounced in front of Michael Smith from Martin Hall, and he did well in the end to offload it to Steve Prescott. Prescott wrestled to the ground by Lawless, who seems to be all over this field at the moment. Here's Wilson again.
Now you see he's already gone past his average of 5, done 6 in this game. He really has been a big thorn in the Hull defence. And this is one player that they really want a little bit more from. That's a big second row, Michael Smith.
And here's a chance for Nolan. He's got support from Leicester, and Leicester will score behind the sticks for Hull. Just the start that the Hull Sharks wanted. Gary Leicester with the try, right behind the posts, and Hull are back in this match with a vengeance now.
Super play, a delayed pass, which was just outstanding. They threw the dummy, and Barrow delayed it so well. Sodji had already gone in off the wing, and great support play by Leicester. That is outstanding. But put that down to the skills of Steve Barrow. Watch this kid here, go through. You'll see Sodji come to him. He's left in no man's land. The winger did exceptionally well. He drew the fullback. Outstanding work there from Hull. Well, they deserve that. It needs a bit of skill to break down any defence. But the way that Steve Barrow did that, not surprisingly, every single Hull player rushed over there, congratulating the winger Jamie Smith, who put in Leicester for the try. But put that down to Steve Barrow. Excellent stuff.
Steve Barrow, who has had service with Widnes and Wigan. He had 2 matches at Hull on loan in 1998. Then he went back to Central Park. Now Prescott from bang in front adds the extra 2. And it now is just a Mark Aston drop goal. It's 14-13 in Hull's favour now.
There's Sodji. He's leaving the wing at all on his own. And once Barrow gets around the man. It was not forward. This is outstanding skills there from Steve Barrow. And Jamie Smith, sorry, Nolan should I say. Nolan passed back on the inside. Well, what play there from Barrow. That really has got the Old Faithful here in the Threepenny Stand well and truly singing.
And it's annoyed John Keir. Doesn't look as though he's too impressed, but here's Barrow again. And for the first time in this match, 45 minutes it's taken them, but Hull now are ahead for the first time. Michael Smith, well, they're going to run strongly now and come at the Sheffield Eagles.
Well, I said they needed a big improvement from their forwards, especially from that big fella, Michael Smith. And they've just shown there with that run that they're really up for this now.
Trying to offload the ball is Roberts. Martin Hall, Leicester try scorer, stabs it through. All down the line, and he finds touch, the right side of the upright. Watson just let it go. It'll be head and feed, though, to the Eagles.
Did the right thing to the fullback, Dave Watson. He just bobbled up and made contact with the fullback coming across into the corner.
But Hull now will hope to force the mistake from this scrum.
And you can see from the forwards from Sheffield, they're none too interested in getting there quickly as possible. They've been stunned by that outstanding try from Leicester.
Senior is tackled by Jim Leatham. Now it's with Dio Powell. And he's away from two. Powerful boy, the Welsh international. Murdoch and Prescott, though, coming in to finish him off. Now here's Lavelle.
Prescott with still one boot missing. He's just fallen past that tackle.
Aston, there's nowhere for him to go there. The whole defence had moved up on the left-hand side. He had to come back this way. And there's Hardy. That's a good run, and he's got support from Powell. And Powell looking for support from Lawless, and he puts the pass down. Well, had that stuck to his fingers, Lawless would have been over under the sticks.
Tremendous work there from Darren Powell. Got the ball back on the inside. You could see that the hooker just could not drag it in. Just enough attention from Steve Prescott to perhaps put him off. Powell did well, though. And the fullback really threw himself at the hooker, Johnny Lawless. Well, that was a certain try. No one was at home. Steve Prescott was the last line of defence. But excellent work by Dio Powell.
Head and feed at the scrum to the Sharks. Leicester feeds and gives it out. Hardy is in there, so too is Carl Lovell. Johan Windley has come on for the Sharks. There he is, number 32. He was at the dummy half position there, and he's back in again now. He's a lot younger than his 23 years. Here's Hallis. Good tackling. Good tackle there from Chris Thorman. Here's Barrow again. Oh, and he released the pass. It was risky. That could be a knock-on against the Hull Sharks. It certainly is now. Windley in all sorts of strife and under pressure from Hardy.
Well, you could see Windley make a dive for it and then drag the ball backwards. And the pressure from Hardy. Bad mistake there. Well, Barrow offloaded to create the Leicester try, but on that occasion, perhaps should have held on to it.
So what can the Eagles do with this? Here's Keith Senior. A fairly quiet match. Roberts in quickly to tackle him with Graham Hallis. Michael Jackson now. Only knows one way, Michael Jackson, that's forward. If there's anyone in front of him, he tries to run straight through the man. Ricky Wright. Good tackling, though, from the Hull Sharks. Aston now. Here's Hardy. Back on the inside it goes to Darren Shaw. Great defence once more.
Too flat, though. Hardy was running wide and Shaw should have been about 3 or 4 metres behind him.
There's Thorman. Oh, the pass straight into the arms of Nolan.
Well, Thorman was lucky with that.
Well,
the dummy.
That's not in John Keir's script for Chris Thorman.
If it is, he'll want him to omit it next time round. Well, they're becoming their own worst enemies, the Eagles, at the moment. And full credit to Hull. Look how they're getting over the advantage line now. They're up for this.
Great run there from Richard Wilson. Windley clapping his hands at dummy half, finds Leicester. On it goes to Murdoch. Leatham dumped to the ground. Shaw with one tackle, and over the top came Hardy. This is the last. Leicester will hoist the kick under pressure from Aston. He sliced it. It's gone backwards. Oh, nobody really wanted that. Prescott just stuck out a boot, and it dropped easily into the arms of Senior.
Well, they did the right thing to lay off it. Senior finally finished up with the football. Hardy just playing the ball to this man, Johnny Lawless, again, and really, if anybody's going to turn this game around yet again for the Eagles, it's got to be the hooker.
Aston. Powell. Watson. Oh, lovely dummy and a shimmy from Watson. He's opened them up. He's got support there, but there was no through for Ricky Wright. Good tackling back again by the Hull defence. Aston just hangs on. Short ball to Lawton. Then back it goes. And who wants it? The Eagles do. That's the fifth and last, says Robert Connolly.
Is it another one-pointer?
It's with Hardy. He's hoisting the up and under, and Prescott is the only man after it. Prescott gets it. Hardy following up his own kicks as well.
He was on his own, though. It was a good kick from Hardy, and if the kicker can get there, then your support can go with you. But there wasn't anybody there.
Good tackling from Ricky Wright. Stopped the man dead in his tracks.
To be fair, Wright's come out with a few big bone crunches. And the tempo of this game really has increased.
Wilson plays it to Windley. Good scampering run from Windley. Good support from Leicester. Big hoof downfield from Leicester also. And Sodji will collect it 10 metres from his own line. Gets away from Smith. Well, he's on 2 tries, Bright Sodji. Good run.
Good work there.
Pearson's down, injured. Here's Senior.
That really does relieve the pressure when you've got a winger like that Sodji can run 45, 50 metres.
My apologies, by the way, it's Ricky Wright who's down injured, not Pearson.
Jason did well then to offload.
This is Watson. And Turner's back on. There's Thorman, drills the ball all along the ground and finds touch 10 metres from the Hull Sharks line.
Well, I'm not so sure that is the option so early in the tackle count. They still had 2 more to play. Maybe a better option would have been to drive to the 6, had an extra point. At least that would have squared things up. As I mentioned at half-time, Sheffield looked to be coasting to a victory over the London Broncos. They're leading by 12 points. And the Eagles had plenty of opportunities to add that extra point. They failed to do that. Finished up losing the game.
Steve Barrow is going off. I think that's in the blood bin. And Chico Jackson, Anthony Chico Jackson, comes on. This is Leicester. And Sheffield have made a change in the blood bin as well. Simon Baldwin is on.
Well, this is the point of the game where the 2 halves from Hull, Leicester and Murdoch, should just inject themselves a little bit more. That's a stupid pass.
It's not come off. Here's Baldwin. Just off the substitutes bench.
Well, I can't believe that they're trying to offload when they are the team that are leading.
Watson, not the best ball. Turner picks it up, not tackled, can pass it on to Aston. He fires the ball to Jackson. Interception by Nolan. Oh, and then Hallis went behind him and then was punched out of his hands, really, by Michael Jackson.
Now, Hallis lost control of this. Jackson put it through. Oh, Nolan, if he'd have taken that cleanly, he just had to juggle with it in the end.
To play the first knock on, the referee. Well, no, he's given the decision to the Hull Sharks.
And he's got it right, because you see how it went backwards. And as soon as Jackson hits it, that means it's gone into dead over the touchline. So it'd be head and feet to Hull. Correct decision by the official.
Leicester turning and going down the blind side, getting in the way of the referee. The ball comes out.
That's play on. Oh, well, there was only one man there, as far as I could see, and Aston.
Had the tackle been effective?
Well, obviously. That's the only way he could have done it.
He must have shouted held, because by the looks of things, the ball-carrying arm was up in the air. Must have called held.
Called held, yeah. That's the reason why Hallis got back. It was having a fine match with Robert Connolly.
Here's Wilson again. A lot more venom in this whole performance. Start of the second half. Quarter of an hour gone. Roberts back to Smith. Windley, diminutive figure. Jackson. And it's just holes in the second half so far, with Murdoch now. Short ball to Prescott. Back on the inside it goes. That's the last tackle for the Hull Sharks. Murdoch stabs it to the corner. And he took the gamble. And the gamble came off on this occasion for Lovell.
Read it well, though, did the winger. But a nice option from Murdoch. Hasn't produced many of those throughout this game. And really, that's the man that the Hull Sharks have to look forward to. Try to add to that 1 point lead. And maybe Hull should be looking at the option of driving towards the sticks and adding the 1 pointer.
Here's Lawton. Must say he's not been as effective for mine with the Sean head. Good kick downfield. Mark Aston.
That's a 40-20 then. It'll be a head and feed to the Eagles.
It is.
Fine kick from Aston. Well, when he's on form, there's none better in Super League, as that man Mark Aston has been around for many, many years.
Well, don't forget, Tuesday evening, 7:30. Tomorrow, Halifax against Salford. We'll be there at the new Shape from 7:30. Fourth live match over the Easter holiday. Halifax Blue Sox, Salford Red, 7:30 tomorrow night. This is Steve Malloy now for the Sheffield Eagles. Just come on, as you can see. And Lawton is the man who's gone off. This is Dio Powell.
Pretty well stacked on the blind side. They're trying to get the link. Keep your eyes out for Senior out wide.
There's Turner. Now it's Watson. Aston. Holes opened up for Jackson. Can he get the ball away? Well, he does. And there's Senior. Maybe not the route that it was planned to get to Senior's hands, but it got there in the end. Good smothering defence, though, from Windley on Jackson. And that's a run from Baldwin again. To within a couple of metres of the line. They're trying to pinch one at dummy half.
He did well, Watson. He hasn't got it down, but either way, it's a scrum on the 10. Held up. But on the last, and only the handover. Oh, maybe he lost the plot as well. But the fullback, Watson, went very, very close. Ooh, look how close that was. Hand goes underneath. That was Graham Hallis that just put the right hand underneath that one.
Sheffield then now trying to force the mistake from the Sharks, deep in their own territory.
That's the second time, Eddie, that the Eagles have failed to take the opportunity of going for the 1 point. Remember, they still trail. You can breathe a little bit easier when the scores are all square.
Hull forward working hard now. And this is Campbell. Only loses the ball, and it's lost again.
No advantage, they'll play the scrum.
First knock on.
Just the impact there. Campbell looking at the referee saying that it was whipped out. Well, I don't know whether Turner did have a hand in there. It's pretty difficult to see. Midway through this second half, just get the feeling that the batterings that both sides have given to each other, there may be a big mistake here to allow a try.
Yes, when you consider that these players, as all the others in Super League today, had to go through the rigours on Friday. There's another possible interception by Nolan. Well, I tell you what, he's been hunting that all the way through the match. Another one that goes to ground, and again it was Thorman who put the pass out.
Well, I don't know whether he's been watching some videos of this Thorman. Wherever he got it from, I've no idea, but that's the second occasion that Nolan's gone for it and just failed to get it. I think it might be a good idea for John Keir to perhaps get the word out to the youngster, Chris Thorman, say, just calm it down a bit.
We want your calls now for your man of the match vote, 0660 10 10 30. A couple of grand final tickets on offer, and of course the place in the draw for the VIP box as well, 0660 10 10 13. Phone lines open now. Here's Turner. He's all wrapped up. Good defence again from this Hull Sharks outfit. Watson spins but can't get the pass away. Enveloped really by Richard Wilson then. Here's Aston. Now it's Senior. Backing up is Thorman, and he's all wrapped up as well. Terrific scrambling defence from Hull. It draws applause from this crowd. Aston will hoist the kick towards the in goal. Looking for Sodji again. Sodji claiming that the man jumped from within the field of play, which he did, I think.
Pretty difficult to see on that shot. Yes, he did on that occasion.
Well, he jumped from the field of play, but the referee has ruled that he's defused the bomb.
Well,
referee and touch judge have got this wrong.
Have they ever? I mean, it was a good metre inside the field of play. How on earth can the officials get that wrong? Not that Hull will complain. It's a good kick.
Robert Connolly looked at his touch judge, and the touch judge said, tap on the 20. So Hull are in possession.
And a big let off there for the Sharks. Well, there's so many injuries before the kick-off of this match.
It's a great effort from them.
Is it ever? They're showing spirit. And they all realise, the players and the fans, that their coach Peter Walsh under a lot of pressure.
But they're playing with a lot of spirit for him. That's Prescott. Windley. Away it goes to Leicester. And the dab down the touchline from Leicester. Just eating up the clock, turning the Eagles around. Good tactics really from the skipper. And there's Peter Walsh in there, just behind the man with the glasses.
Nice kick, and you can see that as they come to form this scrum, a lot of these players very tired. Hectic weekend, of course, over the Easter break. Malloy receiving attention. He'll take an eternity to come back into the scrum. He's offside at the moment.
Referee just waiting for the prop forward to join in the fun. Here's the youngster Thorman.
Well, a piece of brilliance is what's needed from either side.
Can Watson provide it? Not against defence like that.
Well, he's the type of player that can jink through. So can Aston and Martin Pearson.
Baldwin to Hardy. It wasn't the best pass, and Murdoch really was all over Hardy's back even before that ball reached him. This is Turner. Good defence again from Hull. Oh, and the ball all over the show. Play on, says the referee. Aston. Wimbley's worked hard since he came on. Andy Ireland, when he's been on the field, has done likewise. Looking for a 40-20. And Prescott gets his hands to it eventually. Good chase though.
Good kick by Turner. It's a huge kick downfield. One thing that the Sheffield Eagles coach John Keir will be quite pleased with has been the kicking game and the chase.
But he won't be too impressed with the scoreline at the moment. 14-13, the Hull Sharks lead. And just over a quarter of an hour of the match to go. And Hallis is broken clear. The defence, the second line gets him.
Good job, Senior got back on the cover defence.
Here's Rob Roberts, good strong run. Good support from Leicester. Murdoch's there.
Oh,
it should have gone.
He's blown it completely. Well, Murdoch is absolutely fuming. He went for the glory and finished up with a basket full of nothing. Can you believe that? Full credit to Watson. He gave the impression he was going to go for the intercept, which convinced Leicester to go and throw this awful dummy. And if you could have seen the face on Craig Murdoch, give it to me. He cannot believe it.
Well, he's under the sticks if it goes to him, and it could have been the game. Well, is that the biggest turning point we've seen of this match? A quarter of an hour to go. The Sheffield Eagles well and truly off the hook.
Release! Here.
Split-second decision, but Leicester really should have given the pass. And is that the moment when the match turns the Eagles' way? We'll have to see.
And again!
14-13, nothing in it. Jackson driving it upfield again for Sheffield. But this is tenacious defence from the Sharks.
Well, when you're a struggling coach like Peter Walsh, you just think, what else is going to happen?
Play on.
It is. It's a charge down.
Oh, the referee's taking a tumble now. This is Thorman, a great ball out wide. And it's Lovell. Lovell for the corner. And Lovell skips in. And Lovell will score. Well, how important is that?
Only just, I'll tell you.
How important was that bad decision by Gary Lester? From one end of the field, Hull should have been under the post themselves. As it is, Carl Lovell is over the line at the other end, and Sheffield have restored their advantage.
Well, he was very lucky. Carl Lovell, it was a charge down. Turner did well, back on the inside. Or should I say Baldwin got it back on the inside. Long pass out wide by Thorman. He did well, handed off, but look how close he went to the... Oh, dearie me. Little wonder that most of the coaches are either grey or going bald when you see guys do this. Down and out. Oh! He probably said he had it all under control.
Well, the former Parramatta man has just scored his first try in this country, Carl Lovell. And I just wonder whether that is the try that has turned it the Eagles' way. Well, if Aspen kicks this goal, how will Gary Lester feel? Off the post again. But Sheffield have just edged in front, 17 points to 14.
Youngster Thorman could see that Hull were all at sea in the defence out wide. Okay, didn't get to him on the fall, it was on the first bounce. But Lavelle did it so well.
Think about your discipline.
Down and then out.
Penalties for the lose game. Think about your discipline. You're still in it. Both sides, think about your discipline.
Well, he'll be breathing a sigh of relief, and Gary Lester will be happy enough that Mark Aston's kick, and he's just been given it bang in the kidneys there as he collected the kick-off. But Mark Aston's kick didn't find the mark.
Well, why on earth did the fullback pass the ball to the man that really wasn't expecting it? You've just taken the lead, and now you're going to give the opportunity to the opposition to not only get back in this match, but win it.
Here's Rob Nolan off the wing. Murdoch, Hallis, Lester, Prescott, all wrapped up by Dio Powell. Well, there's a follically challenged coach, as Steve-O says. They lose their hair or they go grey, these fellas. I think the Australians have a phrase for it, don't they, Steve-O? It's called dumb football, isn't it?
Doesn't matter which part of the world you're talking.
Ireland, he's worked hard all day when he's been on this field. Leicester, Murdoch, Roberts, Hallis, he's got the power, Hallis, and he will score! Graham Hallis gets a vital try for the Hull Sharks. Hit the ball at pace, had enough strength to bounce his way to the line, stretched out the arm, and plunked it over the whitewash. Got a bit of a bang for his corner, but he's put Hull back in charge.
Be it not for me to say who you could point the finger and say is dumb, but you can't point the finger at this fella. Came back on the inside, knew that Thorman was just creeping up out wide. Good play, good link from the two halves, Leicester and Murdoch. Long ball out wide, he took the step, pushes off Senior, one of the few occasions he's actually got round it. It bobbled a bit out of his hand as he reached for it, but he had full control as it hit the deck.
So Graham Hallis, who topped 100 points last year for the first time. And Peter Walsh in that box there. I wonder whether he will be breathing slightly easier right now. Hallis's try has restored the Sharks' advantage. It's 18-17. John Keir, he's watched his side throw away opportunities here. And now Steve Prescott with an unblemished goal-kicking record today. And can he just edge the Hull Sharks even closer to victory? The roar will tell you that he most certainly can. It's 20 points to 17. The Sharks lead by 3.
Coleman's the one circled. He just drifts out wide, which is enough for Hallis to step off the right, fend with the left on Senior, stretch out and score probably one of the most vital tries for the Hull Sharks this season. After that mauling that they received at Central Park from Wigan, they have fought back.
And they have the possession from the kick-off. Jackson gets to his feet and plays it. Here's Andy Ireland. Let's go down to pitchside and join Bill Arthur.
Maybe a clue, Eddie, to where the Hull Sharks have got their inspiration for this performance from. They called in when they were going down to London on Friday for the fixture against London Broncos. They called in at Birmingham to see the Davis Cup boys, because of course David Lloyd, the Hull Sharks owner, is also involved with the Davis Cup team, and they saw some pretty gripping tennis there. And okay, so the Yanks won it in the end, but maybe that sort of battling performance is what's borne them through this today. Just news of try-scorer Graham Hallis, who is having treatment while that conversion attempt went over. He's got a nasty gash on the side of his head. And Steve Craven, who's been off since half-time, can't remember the last few minutes of the first half. He was knocked out cold just before half-time.
Chip over the top by Prescott. It's collected by Sodji.
Now then, did a Sheffield player play at that kick? Bit of a difficult one for the official to see. Fast and furious. Well, Sheffield up now to... no, perhaps. He jumped into it going forward. Some referees do deem it as being a charge down, but perhaps because it came off his feet, Robert Connolly allowed it to go on. Oh, great tackle. Murdoch.
A forward pass. 0660 10 10 13 for your votes for man of the match. Great scream from the Threepenny stand. Aston's pass to Hardy, a judge forward for the umpteenth time today.
Just high shot shows it. All the sides do that very flat pass, though, of course, on the advantage line. It's a nightmare for the officials. Well, this has been an epic battle for the Hull Sharks. 9 regulars injured before the kickoff. Who would have thought it? A real patched-up side against a Sheffield Eagle side that in the first 20 minutes had full control of this match.
My mind goes back to the cup tie against Salford, Steve-O. They scored early then. Sheffield, I think, thought they'd won it, and Salford gritted their teeth and got back into that match, a little bit like Hull have done here today. And here comes Murdoch. Murdoch looking to wrap it all up.
Surely they'll go for the one extra.
Windley, back it goes. Roberts goes for the 1 point, off the post. It's gone over though. Yes, hit the post and went in. Rob Roberts with the 1-pointer.
Did it coolly as well. Loose forward. In and in. That's fine, that's one. Doesn't matter how they streak over. Well, the crowd here are going in raptures over this fight back. They've seen some great players and some great teams here at the Boulevard. A lot of people thought they were in the doldrums for 99. New mascot there, Sharks. Not so sure it could have frightened many people, but it certainly appears to have frightened the Sheffield Eagles today.
Yeah, you make reference to the great past for the Hull Sharks, Steve-O, known as the Bank of England club in the 80s, weren't they? With great Kiwis and Aussies over here like Peter Sterling at the Boulevard. And Peter Walsh trying to rekindle the flames of those sort of days. And he will have seen enough in the 75 minutes or so here to have given him hope and encouragement for the future, with so many first-teamers out injured, and seriously injured too, I might add.
Well, to be
These players
fair,
have really dug deep.
to be fair, not only that, Peter Walsh has been criticised in nearly every part, but including, I would think, some of his relatives in Australia. I think some of his cousins would have said he isn't doing the job, but he's certainly done it on this particular day. And like we mentioned before, only 2 points adrift against London last Friday, and they were only 5 points adrift against the Bradford Bulls, so they've shown a lot of spirit and courage.
And it's in defence where they've won this, because they have swarmed around the blue-shirted Eagles every time they've been in possession, as they are now, and Andy Ireland leading the way.
Still, there's plenty to go. Enough time for the Eagles to swoop in and take the points. It's been a long time since they've made a clean break. The last one was when Lavelle scored the try.
And that's a good ball, a good little dummy from Hardy, and Aston kicks for the corner, inviting Lovell to have a race, but the ball wins the race and gets to the dead ball line.
Just a little bit too long. Nice build-up, though. Not too impressed with himself, Mark Aston. Realised perhaps that he could have taken that ball a little bit forward, which would have attracted the fullback Steve Prescott towards him. And as you saw, Prescott controlled that, followed the ball right over. Well, this is up the jumper stuff now. What an effort. It's been a tremendous all-round team performance by the Sharks.
Leicester, dummy half, and he gets the pass away. 4 tackles gone. The Eagles want the ball back desperately. Jim Latham will drive it forward again. What an effort it's been from this whole forward pack. Johan Windley, dummy half. This is the last tackle. Murdoch will surely kick for touch, and he does.
Safety first.
Winding the clock up.
Good call. Been a good effort all round, and must say some nice touches from Johan Windley as well.
Latham goes off. Mike Smith returns. Double change. Scott Barrow comes back. Steve Barrow comes back as well. Thought of a knock on. Went backwards, says Robert Connolly. Play on. Senior. Not seen too much of Senior. Will we now? There's no one there in support. No second phase of attack. Here's Dio Powell, surrounded again by black and white stripes.
Hull need to make sure they don't give away a silly penalty now. They know that the seconds are on their side. Just a one solid line of defence. Don't mess it. Oh, they've given it away.
Given the penalty.
That was silly play there.
Darren Turner anxious to get on with it.
Oh, Gary Lester had a second bite at that play, the ball.
Aston, oh, and he almost fooled himself then. Did well. Minute and a half to go. Watson to Thorman. Just 2 tackles gone. Plenty of options here for the Eagles. Lawton will drive it in. 3 points the difference. A try here, and it could be won by Sheffield.
This is where they're going to put a set move on.
Aston, short ball to Shaw. Great tackle though by Barrow.